Chinese community in the NCD celebrate the funding of the People's Republic. Milne Bay Province improves market facilities. And PNG claims the FIBA Melanesian Cup.
This is National EMTV News with Godwin Eki.
Good evening and welcome to Sunday's News. I'm Godwin Eki. Today marked the 68th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. The People's Republic was founded on October 1st, 1949. PNG and China has had diplomatic relations since 1976. The Chinese community in NCD gathered today at the Sejonggai Stadium to celebrate their National Day. In his speech, the Chinese ambassador, His Excellency Xu Bing, encouraged Chinese residents here to continue to serve as bridges and linkages between China and PNG.
In an intimate event held this morning in Port Moresby, the Chinese community in NCD came together to celebrate the National Day of the Republic of China. This morning, a flag-raising ceremony was held to commemorate the day. China Ambassador to Papua New Guinea, Xu Bing, acknowledged that this was a first for the Chinese community to celebrate the National Day by raising the national flag. He said it shows the love by the community to the country of origin and country of residence, as both flags were raised this morning. Ambassador Xu Bing praised the Chinese community for the contributions to the promotion of bilateral friendship between China and Papua New Guinea and encouraged them to continue to serve as bridges to bring benefits to both nations. The National Day of the Republic of China is a public holiday celebrating the founding of the People's Republic of China and is celebrated on the 1st of October. The event is celebrated for 7 days from the 1st to the 7th of this month, known as the Golden Week. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
The construction for the temporary market for the people in the informal sector in Alatau is expected to begin soon. A groundbreaking ceremony was held last Friday to signal the start of construction. This facility is jointly funded by the National Fisheries Authority and the Japanese government under JICA at the cost of 47 million kina.
The delegation from NFA, JICA and Fisheries Ministry were treated to a very traditional Milne Bay welcome upon arrival, followed by a convoy to Alatau town where another welcome reception was staged. JICA representative in PNG, Shujo Yoshihiko, explained the Japanese government's involvement in building the market. Mr. Yoshihiko said JICA is investing in such facilities because it wants to promote healthy lifestyle and good hygiene.
PNG is a great nation with lots of potential through its natural resources. Setting up a market infrastructure is one way helping its people to benefit from their resources, from local products, fishery products, to art and crafts.
It has contributed 33 million kina to build the market. This facility will be similar to the one constructed in Madang and Wewak. Fisheries Minister Patrick Basa explained that the construction of the market is aimed at boosting economic growth in the fisheries and marine resources sector in Milne Bay, and it's part of NFA's rehabilitation programs in building proper markets in maritime provinces.
This program is an innovative program which encompasses the themes of livelihood and fisheries development targeted at the community level. It is also encompasses the philosophy and the culture of how our mothers go to the markets to sell their produce.
However, Alatau MP Charles Abel said the construction is taking too long and urged NFA and JICA to ensure the construction begins quickly as it is part of Alatau's facelift program.
That we've been working on through JICA and NFA that they will fix our market. And so we have held back. We have concentrated on doing our bus stop and all the other developments, and we have left the market with the expectation that this project is coming. And quite frankly, it's taken too long. Let's be honest. It's taken too long.
The groundbreaking was officiated by Minister Basa in the presence of NFA and JICA officials and the people of Alotau. Once completed, it will be used as a facility for those in the informal sector, but will be used as a Covers Corner in the long term. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
In another story from Alotau, a partnership between the National Fisheries Authority and Alotau District has seen the establishment of a fish market in East Cape. The facility, constructed at the cost of over 400,000 kina, will give women in Alotau, Esa Ala and Samurai Murua districts a cleaner and proper area to sell their food. It was opened by Fisheries Minister Patrick Basa and local MP Charles Abel.
East Cape is situated on the most eastern tip of Papua New Guinea. It is home to over 300,000 people and is the gateway to Alotau town for Milne Bay people from the island districts. It is a traditional trading point for people in Milne Bay, but over the years has become a gathering place for people to buy or sell fish, baskets or mats. The opening of this facility gives women, especially those from the island districts, a chance to market their produce here instead of traveling to Alotau main market.
I must also further inform that the East Cape market is an example of a collaboration between the member for Alotau and the National Fisheries Authority, where resources were shared to materialize a tangible benefit through projects initiated and conceptualized by the member and his district.
Alotau MP Charles Abel asked those who attended the market opening to look after the facilities and use it to generate income for their families. Abel outlined the national government's goal to build infrastructures that will sustain those in informal sector and added that the fish market is one of those.
Thank the Fisheries Minister for also talking about Good Enough and Kirwina. But don't forget also Esala and Samurai Muru are there. And I know you've been separately giving help in those areas and you will continue to do so.
Locals were pleased of the market's establishment and moved into selling their produce soon after it was declared open. The ownership of the market was transferred from National Fisheries Authority to East Cape LLG after the signing of proper documents. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Agriculture Minister Benny Allen, speaking in Parliament this week, wants more companies to invest in rice production in PNG. He told Parliament that Trukai is growing rice in Milne Bay Province and will be increasing its production. The minister also went on to mention the Central Rice Project earmarked in the controversial Manu Manu land area.
Minister for Agriculture Benny Allen said rice production in PNG is increasing to meet the demand for rice. He was responding to the member for Minima's question on the government's take on rice production in PNG.
About over 500 million low rice annually. Now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, this black government start long last time. And we work long time long kirapim tintin blood planning rice inside long country.
The minister said Trukai has 80% of the market, but said there were also other companies interested in rice production.
And the 30% is shared by other players. And Trukai has now started planting rice in the Makam Valley. And from the 2,000 hectares, we are expected to harvest about 20,000 tons. So Trukai is now into the business of growing rice, and we want to encourage all players in the rice industry to grow locally. Once we address them, yes, we will have Naime also on board, growing rice. We want to encourage more players in the rice industry. So,
Indonesian business Naima Agro Industry was looking to invest 2 billion kina for rice production at the Manu-Manu land area in Kairuku-Hiri district in 2016. Until this year, an announcement that the land would be used as a PNG Defence Naval Base that led to the acquisition being questioned on the floor of Parliament and 2 ministers sidelined and an administrative inquiry set up to investigate the purchase of the land. But Minister Allen was confident in Parliament that Naima Company will invest in rice production somewhere in Central Province to meet the ever-growing demand for rice.
Naima is trying to do rice production in Central, and we have an agreement in place, and we are looking at that agreement closely in terms of two issues raised. On quota, the issues on quota and also on tax concession, that we are looking at those 2 issues. Once we address them, yes, we will have Naime also on board.
Adelaide Siraks Kari, National, EMTV News.
About 1,500 bags of betel nut are being sold every day at the designated wholesale distributors at Gerahu, Indonesia's capital. The betel nut ban has been lifted, but NCD Governor Powes Pakop wants chewers and sellers to be responsible for their rubbish, or else the ban is set to be enforced in February next year. In the meantime, the sales of betel nut in Port Moresby has greatly benefited growers who travel long distances to sell the green gold.
Every day, betel nut is brought in by growers from Central and Gulf provinces and sold to a demanding customers at a staggering 1,000 to 1,525 kg bags every day.
We get betel nut from the betel nut sellers. They come from Central and Gulf provinces. They come here in the night or sometimes during the day. Anytime they come in here, we have a gate open for them. They come, they stay, live here, and then they sell the betel nut here to the city. This price they are paying is 150 for 25 kg bag. 30 kg is 60-50 kilo. It depends on the type of bag they bring in. And the daga, if the supply is up, they pay about 20 to 30 kilo daga. And if it is short, they pay about 70-80 kilo for one bundle of daga.
While the rubbish caused by the so-called green gold is an eyesore, the amount of money being made is a whole different story. The driver and the owner of the vehicle transporting the betel nut gets 10 kina for every bag loaded. We spoke to Henry Pakai, who brought in 90 betel nut bags from Kerama. That means he makes 900 kina every day. He brings a truckload of betel nut.
Lo Kerama, Gulf Province, lo Terapo, Taure River, online sakando lo Taure River mlo pikimo lab nakam.
John Dihava, a grower from Gulf, has to take a 5-hour boat ride from his village to Kerama town to get on the vehicle to get to Port Moresby.
3 o'clock me losing la press. We I'm starting venting and me pressing come down. The motor. Come lo yesterday and me 7 o'clock.
They sell their betel nut depending on the quality of the nut. The average 25 kg bag is sold for 150 kina. A grower brings in an average in 20 bags a day. That means they make an average of 3,000 kina in a day. John says in his rural village he has bought a generator and many other things.
Me buy motor, me buy tinky, me buy generator, me buy house cover, me buy fridge, TV. Yeah,
But as for the sellers here in Port Moresby, sales is a very different story.
We can be lo Moresby lo ngana mi pa ina mat lo Salem o Mr. Salem lo Gero Street bus stop. Police come running mi bla ron one time but mi na bat Mi had la ron one time big so means exclusive boy. Mi ron at and mi walk in plant lo. So na market mi blast tap up in and mi blast a cleaning. Lorek, mi mas clean him or mi salim. Mi no clean him, not clean him land, but you no clean him, so you go out.
Adelaide Siraks Kari, National, EMTV News.
Stories making headlines overseas when we come back. Timor-Leste's struggling economy and US Air Force leader denounce racism. "15 years since Timor-Leste gained its independence, it could face economic collapse. Its main oil and gas is nearly depleted, and the government, formerly known as East Timor, is spending its savings into grand infrastructure schemes that critics say is wasteful."
Mountains hugging a pristine coastline, Timor-Leste is one of the world's unsung natural beauties. But for people living in the slums surrounding the capital, life is anything but idyllic.
We have been abandoned by the government. For the veterans, they were heroes in the past, but now they have betrayed us. We supported the resistance movement, but those who supported the Indonesian government are still living a good life.
About 42% of Timorese live in poverty, and the people picking through the scraps of this rubbish dump are among the most desperate. This year marks 15 years since Timor-Leste gained its independence after 25 years of oppressive Indonesian occupation. Since then, its leaders have stitched together a stable democracy and brought electricity to remote villages, but they've struggled to reduce widespread poverty among the 1.1 million Timorese. Money, or the lack of it, is not the problem. Timor-Leste has been blessed with oil and gas reserves, but they're now running out, and the income they generate is set to vanish in the next 10 years because the government is pumping most of the money it's making from petroleum into grand development schemes.
So one of the largest projects in process that they've already spent about $300 million on is what's called the Tasimane project. It's a petroleum infrastructure project on the southwest coast of the country. It includes an oil refinery, a supply base for offshore oil operations, a liquefied natural gas plant.
As well as the Tasimane project, the government is pumping hundreds of millions into developing an enclave called Akusi and turning it into a special economic zone it hopes will attract foreign investment. Again, it's proving controversial because the financial plans are vague. But the government says these projects are necessary and money won't run out.
People think that the money is going to be run out in 10 years' time, but this is a prediction. We are developing the economy, and I don't think that we will be left empty-handed.
The government admits it needs to invest more in education and health. Timor-Leste has the highest rate of leprosy in Southeast Asia, and 50% of children are stunted from malnutrition.
A US Air Force Academy leader has delivered a powerful speech in response to a racist attack on his cadets. 5 African Americans were the target when someone wrote slurs outside their dorm.
Scrawled on message boards outside the rooms of 5 black cadets in the prep school were blunt. Go home, and then the N-word. Just as blunt, the words from Air Force Academy Superintendent Lieutenant General J. Silveria.
If you're outraged by those words, then you're in the right place. You should be outraged not only as an airman, but as a human being.
He talked to cadets, faculty members, and senior officers. Silveria, a Bronze Star recipient who once commanded Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, insisted that cadets tackle America's racial issues head on.
We would be naive to think that we shouldn't discuss this topic. We would also be tone deaf not to think about the backdrop of what's going on in our country. Things like Charlottesville and Ferguson, the protests in the NFL. That's why we have a better idea. The power that we come from all walks of life, that we come from all parts of this country, that we come from all races, we come from all backgrounds, gender, all makeup, all upbringing. That's a much better idea than small thinking and horrible ideas.
As for Silveria, as they say in the military, his message was crystal. as in crystal clear.
If you can't treat someone from another race or a different color skin with dignity and respect, then you need to get out.
One of the world's most famous climbing destinations has been struck by two massive rockfalls. A British tourist was killed and two others injured when the rocks broke off in California's Yosemite National Park.
Unbelievable. Without warning Thursday on one of El Capitan's most popular climbing routes, massive chunks of rock tumbled, sending out huge plumes of dust.
Oh my gosh. It was really scary.
Veteran climber Pete Zobrak was on his 58th trek up El Capitan and captured this video yesterday. What was that like?
I certainly felt it long before we heard it. The dust cloud went straight across the river. The whole road was obliterated in dust.
Two rock slides occurred this week on the southeast side of the mountain during peak climbing season. Wednesday's granite chunk that fell killed 32-year-old British tourist Andrew Foster. It measured 130 feet tall. Thursday's slide was almost 400 feet and injured a man when a rock smashed through his car's sunroof. Does what happened here scare you?
It's utterly petrifying. We also had this immense sense of relief that, we really dodged a bullet.
Geologists say the break could have been caused by heating and cooling of the granite face. And despite the two rock slides, the park is still open and climbers have not been deterred.
People around the world are keeping a close eye on the Catalonia region of Spain where an independence vote is underway. The mood in Spain is mixed. In Barcelona, the regional capital of Catalonia, thousands of people marched on Friday to show their support for the controversial referendum. Spain's government says the vote is illegal and has deployed police officers to prevent it.
A sea of red, yellow and blue screams to be heard. These are the yells of defiance. We will vote. We will vote. A message to the central government of Mariano Rajoy, who in the last week has been accused here of heavy-handedness. He has lost his democratic compass, tells me this man, and he thinks he can stop this with the use of force of the courts in a perverse manner. Early in the day in the streets of Barcelona, that anger and frustration was matched by the deepest desire to vote, come what may.
Vamos con claveles.
We're going to vote with carnation, tells me this lady, with flowers, and there'll be no type of violence. No one will stop me because we're so many. I don't think they can do anything.
According to the Catalan government, some 150 referendum websites have been suspended. And what this has led to is the creation of more traditional campaigning right here on the streets of Barcelona. People can approach asking for information regarding polling stations, which ones are open, from what time. And critically, they can collect their official ballot paper.
This is a grassroots referendum too, with people occupying polling stations like this school to make sure that police cannot close it and therefore stop them from voting. The option to vote yes or to vote no is up to each person, he says. And what we want above all else is to vote. We want to manifest our opinion and our desire as a people. But a look towards the Barcelona port suggests the central government of Madrid has other plans. Here are reinforcements. As many as 7,000 police officers are waiting to be deployed to stop a referendum the central government calls unconstitutional and illegal. But while the Guardia Civil may be ready to crash the party, Catalans, at least for now, are celebrating in the hope that on October the 1st, they will be finally heard.
Trukai Sports is next. Details after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Oil Search Trophy Tour spent their third and final day in Kavieng Town and the surrounding islands. The Rugby League World Cup was taken to notable venues in Kavieng Town, including the National Fisheries College and its Marine Research Facility on Nengo Island.
We continue our trip from Lamakot into quaint Kavieng town, where more than 20 vehicles escorted the Paul Berrier Trophy and the Old Search Trophy tour team through the town and its market. The first stop was the National Fisheries College, where the trophy tour team was welcomed by family, staff and the student community.
Fisheries College to stop. There's an opportunity long. National Fisheries College is stop and importance of National Fisheries College. So this like me play appreciate him. Acknowledge him. Thank you straight long you play him.
So me play mamas lo bring because I think 800 languages, 800 tribes. But rugby league and one play language play me ogata. Connecting you me olgata. So me play mamas straight lo kisimikam. Na me play like talk thank you to lo Newcrest. Newcrest and me partner lo me plan and Alpi me plan lo sponsoring na kisimikam lo New Island, Lear, Asten and now Kavieng Tate.
The Kavieng Town Oval was next, where a game of touch rugby was put on by students on the schoolboys rugby program from St. Vincent's College and the Olds International School. We then set sail on the National Fisheries College boat, the FTV Poketiam, for a 5-minute boat ride to Nango Island. This is where the National Fisheries College hosts its marine biology research facility.
We are now on in New Island, on Nango Island, which is only about 5 minutes by boat from Kavieng. We thank National Fisheries Authority. They have a fantastic world-class research facility on the island. And so far the World Rugby League Cup tour has been a fantastic journey. Bringing it outside of Mosby and bringing it to our people, our really small people outside, mums and dads, daughters and children. And for them to be able to have a touch, have a connection with the World Cup trophy.
We're privileged because it came across to Lear, and then we've got these programs, as you know, Newcrest is coming in to actually try to encourage, the TMTM, the Trupla Man, Trupla Mary, and in Newcrest we're actually participating in a lot of social development activities, which is in New Island. And this cup has brought about that type of encouragement to the community, and it's about bringing the involvement of the community to see, because that's not only about this activity, but I think in terms of bringing discipline to actually the livelihood of the people so that they feel part of it.
The final stop of the New Guinea Islands Oil Search Trophy Tour was at Nusa Island. The journey will continue after 5 days of spreading the language of rugby and unity. Harry Egimbari, National and TV Sports.
The PNG Hunters went down to Penrith Panthers 42 points to 18 this afternoon in the NRL State Championships Grand Final. Despite minimum errors, the Hunters struggled in containing the Panthers' reserve grade team as they crossed over the try line 7 times before halftime. However, in the second half, the Hunters showed their flair in attack when they scored 3 unanswered tries in the last 10 minutes of bringing the score to 18-42. The Hunters will return tomorrow with a bulk of the players expected to be named in PNG Kumul's World Cup team on Wednesday. One of the NRL's biggest stars has revealed he's considered switching codes to All Blacks. Kiwi forward Jason Tamalolo will run out for North Queensland in the NRL Grand Final against Melbourne. But a word from his former coach almost had him return to New Zealand to play rugby.
At just 24, Jason Taumalolo's already one of the highest paid players in the game, and he's received the NRL's top individual honour, last year winning the Dally M medal.
Taumalolo pours through a hole!
Tomorrow he'll run out for the Cowboys in the NRL Grand Final. But it could have been a very different story after a rift with former North Queensland coach Neil Henry.
There was a lot happening at the club. I was in and out of first grade, and I think wasn't really getting the opportunities that I thought I would be getting, but was close to leaving the club.
So close, Taumalolo had offers from other NRL clubs, and the All Blacks also tried to nab the Auckland-born star, with an eye to the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan.
I had a few offers from a few clubs in Sydney, and especially back home too.
Despite knocking back the chance to wear an All Blacks jersey, he's still very much in the black, signing a 10-year, $10 million deal to stay in Townsville.
Obviously, you're going to get that with a few coaches. You're not going to agree every time, and I'm just thankful that Greenie came. So yeah.
Greenie coach Paul Green helped Taumalolo win a premiership ring 2 years ago. A second would prove staying with the Cowboys was the right decision.
Taumalolo, you will not stop him.
To Rugby Union, All Blacks captain Kieran Reid is going to great lengths to claim the nerves of his young team ahead of the Rugby Championships with the Argentinian Pumas.
Young rugby fans excitedly flock to the All Blacks at the captain's run. Unless their English is good, chatting with the world's best isn't easy, although Kieran Reid has worked on his Spanish at the team hotel.
Sí se le adecueta.
Se cierra la puerta.
Yeah. Please mind the doors. Is that what it says? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But
A few doors have opened for the youngsters in Reid's team. Without leaders like Kane, Whitelock, Retallick and Smith, Reid says they've been challenged to fill the void.
yeah, there's a little bit of that, but I think the boys who have stepped into those roles have done a fantastic job, and we've got a team who's willing to put everything on the line.
When the All Blacks police-led convoy leaves for Vella Sarsfield Stadium tomorrow, they'll have 50,000 noisy fans waiting for them. It's the kind of atmosphere that's affected other teams in the past, and they've lost. Never the All Blacks, and Kieran Reid loves playing there.
A bit of music, a bit of dancing, and a crowd that really gets in behind the game. They're knowledgeable, they certainly like their home team, but they've supported us really well as well.
Reid does admit it can be intimidating on your first visit. Steve Hansen says a trip to watch 36-time Argentina football champions River Plate has helped the rookies understand what they're in for.
You know, we've got 8 guys that haven't been here before, so a lot of them went, and what I do know is the only way you can keep the crowd out of it is by playing well, and they'll quieten down a bit.
Some of the team visited River Plate's practice facility today and tested their football skills. In fact, New Zealand's ability with the round ball has local attention, with the prospects of an all-whites Argentina World Cup qualifier.
How would you feel about having Messi there in your country?
Oh, it'd be great to have Messi in the Argentinian team there. I don't think it's great for our prospects of going to the World Cup though, so hopefully Argentina can sneak into the top 4 and then we can play someone else.
If that was to happen, Reid would have the appropriate words for the occasion.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Back home, the Port Moresby Touch competition is into its final knockout stage after 7 rounds of footy action. Today saw the first women's and men's knockout games, with the grand final qualifier to be played next week.
The first women's match was between the JL Privates and Thunderbirds. After 10 minutes of footy action, the Thunderbirds came on top as the winners and will stand by for the grand final qualifier next week.
We started back in March this year. We ran the proper season, and now, as you can see, we are into our semi-finals this Sunday. So with this game, you will see the winner advances on to play next week, and the loser bows out of this game.
Port Moresby Touch President Paul Pascalis commended the teams that took part in this year's competition and says they are now looking forward to the grand final.
Following Sunday, we have the last semi-finals, and so that will see the teams playing for the grand final spot, which will be on the following Sunday.
The Port Moresby Touch competition is one of 3 touch competitions in the nation's capital. The others are the Corporate Touch Tournament, played at the Sir John Guy Stadium every weekend, and the Central Touch Competition, played at the Unagi Oval. Stanley Ovett Jr., National EMTV Sports.
When we come back, all the basketball action from FIBA Melanesian Cup. Stay with us.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome back. In basketball, PNG are the champions for both the men's and women's in the 2017 FIBA Melanesian Cup. PNG defeated Fiji in the final of the women's game, while in the men's, PNG dethroned New Caledonia at the Turama Aquatic Centre yesterday. In the women's match, it was a convincing win, 77-58 win over Fiji. In the men's grand final, the Pepsi PNG national men's team defeated one of Pacific's best, New Caledonia, 81-63.
Inaugural 2017 FIBA.
At first whistle, it was game on as the two teams battled their way through the first quarter.
Win the tip-off. Martin Lay strong to the basket. Gets the first points for PNG.
Sharing the scoreboard in the first quarter, New Caledonia, however, took a 1-point lead, 18-17.
Stevens got to let it go. Yep, too late.
In the second quarter, PNG had their hands high to count on 3 shots and 3 shots to eventually gain the lead.
Gets the rebound and the putback.
In the third quarter, PNG distanced itself by 11 points difference, 38-27.
It did this a lot last night.
New Caledonia's star number 11 fired a couple of outside shoots to narrow the points. However, PNG maintained the lead in the quarter.
Not good. Kept in by Liam Wright.
With crowd advantage, PNG led comfortably to win the match, claiming the FIBA 2017 Melanesian Cup. Trukai Sports ends on that note. The weather details when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, with doing with Dulux.
The weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Port Moresby, Daru, Kerema, Alatau, Popondetta, mostly fine. In the Momase region, Lei, Wau, Medeng, Wewak, Vanimo, showers or 2. In the New Guinea Island region, Lorengau, Kavieng, mostly fine. Kokopo, mostly fine. Kimbe, mostly fine. Buka, mostly fine. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, showers. Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi, and Wabeg, showers.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, with doing with Dulux.
And that's how we end the National MTV News this Sunday, the 1st of October 2017. The NRL Grand Final between North Queensland Cowboys and Melbourne Storms will follow after the news. On behalf of the news team, I'm Godwin Eki. Pleasant viewing. Good night.